The history of fly fishing in England can be traced back to 1496, when a well-known printer, William Caxton, published a work called The Treatise of Fishing with an Angle by Dame Juliana Berners. The angle referred to in the title was the early term for a hook, and from which the term angling was derived. The good lady wrote, "You can angle for him with a lying or running ground line, except in leaping time, and then with an artificial fly." Since that time, the tackle used for fly fishing has changed with each new advance in technology. The rods this lady would have used would have been made of hazel or ash, and the fly lines of horsehair, fixed permanently to the rod, for there were no reels in those days. Nevertheless, her advice remains sound, for the best time to go fly fishing is when you see fish rising. For those new to the sport, the principles of fly fishing are much the same as any other sort of fishing. The angler intends to offer a bait, i.e. something the fish likes to eat, within which is concealed a hook. In fly fishing, the bait is merely an artificial representation of the fish's natural food, made usually with feather and fur. But a fly is not always a replica of what is commonly understood as a fly. It can be an imitation of all sorts of other food available to the fish, and even of small fish themselves. There are two principal methods of fly fishing: dry fly and wet fly. Dry fly means that the angler keeps the fly dry and floating on the surface of the water to represent airborne creatures generally on or above the surface, and wet fly is to fish the flies wet, i.e. under the surface and in the water. The principal reason that fly fishing has developed as a unique branch of angling is that the casting principles are very different. Unlike the coarse or sea angler who uses lead weights to cast with, the fly fisher has no such luxury, using instead specially weighted lines and more flexible rods, as well as a different style of casting to carry the light fly out to the fish.